For 3 days and 3 nights, the train stopped. The doors are slid open. I jump off the train. I'm greeted by guards, screaming, yelling, "Out! Get out! Take nothing with you!" In the distance, I see flames coming out of chimneys. I'm standing next to my grandfather on one side, my brother on the other side. Suddenly, I'm separated from my grandfather, my grandmother, my aunt, my 10-year-old cousin. They're marching off towards those buildings with the flames. They have no idea what's going on. 24 hours after I arrived in this place called Auschwitz, my grandfather, my grandmother, my aunt, my 10-year-old cousin were just ashes. Murdered. What was their crime? Their crime, they were Jews. I was shipped off to work. Tattooed. Hard work. Why was I there? Well, my life did not begin that way. I began my life in 1929 in democracy. Life was beautiful. Everything you can think of. Not that much different from your lives. Family, brothers, sisters, cousins. But very quickly, all this changed. Before I was 10 years old, suddenly the country I lived in called Czechoslovakia was no longer there. It was now Slovakia. It was now a fascist country, following in the footsteps of Adolf Hitler. Oh, I was 10 years old. How did I know? Well, one day I'm walking to the park and there's a sign, "No Jews or dogs allowed." Wow. Very soon my friends would talk to me because I was a Jew. One day I come to school in September of 1940. I'm 11 years old. I was promoted in June. I get to the gate of the school and the principal tells me, "You can't go in because you're a Jew." That afternoon I go and play soccer with my friends and the coach tells me I can no longer play with them because they don't want any Jews. They don't want to be contaminated. Very soon my jacket is taken away from me because it's a fur jacket and fur is a luxury and Jews are not allowed to have that. Day by day, things get worse. Jewish doctors are no longer permitted to examine anyone except Jews. Jewish attorneys are no longer permitted to practice law. My father's business, making railroad ties by the tens of thousands, is in danger of being taken away. And so he approaches one of his wonderful Catholic friends and tells him about this problem. He says, "Albert, lend me your name so I can change the name of my company. This way no one will take it away from me because it will be a Christian company." Albert, being a friend, agrees to all this and they sign papers. And my father's business is saved. About 3 months go by, and Albert comes to see my father and tells him, "We're partners, I want half the profits." 3 more months go by, and comes over to see my father and tells him, "Joe, I like the way you're running my business. I'm not going to fire you." And so the Jews have no jobs. By 1942, in the summer, death camps have been built. In Auschwitz and Majdanek and Treblinka, where Jews from all over Europe are brought there and converted to ashes. And so Slovakia decides to do the same. In the middle of the night, on a Friday night, there's a knock on every Jewish home in my town. 1,800 Jews of the 2,000, men, women, and children, are dragged from their homes to the synagogue. The synagogue is locked. 36 hours later, it's opened again. And the Jews are marched to the train station, into cattle cars, and they're gone. I'm lucky I'm not. My father and mother, my brother, my grandparents, we left there temporarily. A few months go by, my grandparents are arrested. We get out. We're lucky. We must move. Most of Europe now is being taken free of Jews from Lithuania and Poland and Greece and Holland. Only very few countries the Jews are still saying, "One of them is Hungary." I managed to get into Hungary. with my father and mother, my grandparents, my older brother. My parents go off to Budapest, the capital, because my father needs to get a job. And I'm staying in a small village. I'm happy there. Because I'm not bothered by anybody. Jews and Christians still living together. But one day, in the spring of 1944, Germany, together with the Nazis of Hungary, decided it's time to get rid of the Jews. So now I find myself in a railroad car. My parents are in Budapest. I'm in a railroad car with my brother, my grandparents. That's how I got to Auschwitz. For the crime I committed of being a Jew. I was blamed for everything. And so my grandparents are gone. My parents are someplace, I have no idea where. And I'm working in the fields. I'm plowing the fields around Auschwitz. I'm 14 years old on very little food. You're talking about black coffee for breakfast, some soup for at noon, and a piece of bread at night. I turn 15. I'm hungry. I'm tired. It's long hours. I lose weight. There's always the fear that maybe tonight is selection. You go to take a shower, and there is a doctor in uniform, look at you for an instant of time, and looks at you, says nothing, except writes down the number on your arm, and the next morning, you're gone into the gas chamber. The war's coming to an end. The Russian army is no more than 50 miles from Auschwitz. Hope they'll come here. After all, by January of 1945, the American army is in Germany, destroying its ability to make war. It's only a matter of days. I want to survive that morning on the 18th of January. 60,000 inmates are marched out on a death march from Auschwitz. March or die. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm cold. I'm telling my brother, I'm not sure how much longer I can take this. He's 3 years older than I, but very spiritual. He says to me, don't think of food. Don't be so physical about life. Say a prayer. Say a psalm. I said, I don't know them by heart. He did. And so I repeat after him. After 3 days and 3 nights of marching, put into open cars, and finally we stop, and there is another camp called Buchenwald. Not a death camp, it's a concentration camp. My friends know the problem was that Buchenwald was built for 5,000 people. At the moment when I arrived, there are over 50,000 people with the same amount of food, same amount of facilities. And of course, you keep losing weight. People keep dying. Every morning, there are corpses coming out of the barracks. One day my brother is taken away. I never saw him again. I'm trying to survive. Day after day I'm praying. Please, let the war be over. It's April of 1945. It's a matter of 5-6 weeks before the war is over. And then one day, suddenly, the death march begins again. I can't march. I'm down to 75 pounds. I can hardly drag myself. I hide. I keep hiding. On the 10th of April, I'm hiding under a building, hoping and praying that nobody's going to find me. The guard comes along with the dog and gets me. I'm in front of the gate now, knowing full well, unless there is a miracle, I am in trouble. And that day, as we're standing in front of the gate to be marched out, with guards on both sides, suddenly the air raid siren goes off. American airplanes are overhead. Can't march because the guards don't want to get killed, to be in the open. That air raid lasted all day long. I survived another day. By next morning, 11 o'clock, the guards disappeared and 2 American soldiers walked into our barracks. One was black, one was white. The Messiah has arrived. You may not know what he looks like. I know there are 2 of them. I survived. But I'm alone. I get back to my village and there I see the first person, the first farmer I see, tell me, did anybody in the Roth family survive? He says, yes. I say, where? I run over, I opened up the door, and there's my mother. I say, hi, Mom. My mother mother fainted out of sheer joy. She couldn't catch her breath. My parents survived. They were in Budapest. How did they survive? Before the Jews of Budapest were being shot on the street and dumped into the Danube or marched on a death march, my father gets very sick. He goes into a coma. He's typhus. He's contagious. He's put into a hospital. Everybody says he's going to die. The doctors, all the nurses, except for one. A Seventh-day Adventist Christian woman tells my mother, pray it's possible for him to come out of a coma. And every night she's there, talking to him, praying. Nights go by, weeks go by, and one night she's talking to him and looks at him for a moment and says, he's moving his lips. And she's listening. How long have I been asleep, it says. My father comes out of a coma, but the Jews are being shipped to their death. This woman lives in a one-bedroom apartment with her daughter, who's married and has a child, and a husband who's in the Hungarian Nazi army. She offers them a place to hide. They get there, no one sees them. Police come to look for Jews. They don't find them. Every night, every day, they listen. Knock on the door. Police come into the hiding place. They look, they don't find them. One night, there's a knock on the door. Into the hiding place they go, but it is not the police, it's the husband, the son-in-law, the Hungarian Nazi soldier comes home for 3 days. Now in a one-bedroom apartment, it's kind of hard to hide two extra people. And so she tells them about these distant relatives. Very distant. They're living here with us, it's a war, but actually they're hiding. But no one must know. And you mustn't tell anybody, because if you do, they'll be shot in the courtyard. And if you want to go to bed with me tonight, I'm going to keep you big man shot. And so my parents survived. The war is over. The Jews have no place to go. They're in refugee camps, in DP camps in Germany, because they can't go back. We're not welcome back. The comments are somebody should survived. And so, in 1947, the UN votes in late success to partition their ancient homeland to a Palestinian state and a Jewish state. But unfortunately, on the 14th of May of 1948, the night that the Jewish state is declared after 2,000 years of exile, 6 armies attacked this fledgling Jewish state. Through miracle, they survived. That's not the end of persecution. In 1956, in 1967, in 1973, in 1980, continuously the onslaught against the Jewish people. And my friends, today, the propaganda machine is in full force. Not just in the Middle East. The media has bought into it. Colleges and universities all over the United States and Great Britain. In fact, 4 weeks ago, the Irish Teachers Union unanimously voted to boycott, sanctions, and divestment of Israel. Unanimously. The persecution of the Jews has not stopped. That is why I'm so thankful for Kufa. They are the one organization, both on the college campus, in the Christian world, saying, no! Do not demonize the Jew. He's not committed any crimes. Just like the lies in 1933 and 35 and 42. But the crimes the Jews have committed, which is, of course, a total, complete fabrication. Today, in 2013, this continues. So my plea to you, my good friends, join together. Join together and save the Jewish people. Thank you very much. Amen.